Just want to say good day, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. For those who don't know me, I'm Ismene Toulatos, Head of Account Management, Cloud at Grove, a company of i360. As part of Integrity 360, Grove embraces a security-first approach, empowering our clients to make informed cybersecurity decisions with the tools they need in order to protect their businesses. We're excited to continue this mission through our long-standing partnership with BlackBerry, a leader in cybersecurity. Together, we offer prevention-first technologies, so from AI-based endpoint protection and mobile device management to manage, detect, and respond services. BlackBerry also provides critical event management solutions to help organizations prepare for, respond to, and recover from disruptions. So in today's webinar, we will dive into securing every access point beyond your traditional Unified Endpoint Management, UEM, so right down to the individual files, with insights directly from our BlackBerry experts, of course. If you guys could please use the Q&A box for any questions, and we'll address them after the session. With that said, I'll hand you over to Connie from BlackBerry.
Thank you so much, Isi. Hi, everyone. My name is Connie Simunyu, Business Development Manager for the SADC region at BlackBerry. Firstly, I just want to thank Groove for setting up this for us, the webinar. And of course, a big thank you all for joining us and those who are yet to join as well. Our session today, titled Containerisation Beyond Mobile Devices, will give you a clear understanding on how to improve security in a fast-changing digital world. We'll talk about how containerization not only does it only protect your mobile devices, it also extends its security to your laptops, workstation, and more. The main takeaway for this webinar, you're going to leave with useful insights on how BlackBerry Unified Endpoint Management provides strong security for all of your devices in your environment while making management and productivity easier and more efficient. So guys, I'm going to take this time just to introduce Ahmad Ramadan, who is our regional manager and sales engineer for the Meta region at BlackBerry. Ahmad, over to you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Izzy. Thank you, Grove, and everyone for joining the webinar today. Actually, exciting topics to be discussed today, and we're going to be taking a deep dive of how BlackBerry has been helping organizations secure their devices for over a decade, and talk about technologies that are unique in terms of offering a whole-around view and coverage on all the mobile devices and organizations. So stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing my screen. And if you have any questions, please feel free to share on the Q&A button. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Just allow me a moment. So we're going to talk a bit about BlackBerry's history. BlackBerry is a very well-known company when it comes to mobile devices in the past, and that was due to the fact organizations were adopting BlackBerry devices due to their security, the fact they were enterprise built from day one. And that DNA is actually what made BlackBerry devices so popular. It's not only about the consumer, it's also about securing corporate data, and that's what BlackBerry has developed over the years. Obviously, the business has changed, and BlackBerry, through its mobile device management and AI-based technologies, has embedded a lot of security products to secure devices, and this has expanded throughout the years to become covering actually over 500 million endpoints with 150 million cars, whether through our UEM or security solutions, in addition to the QNX operating system on automotive basically automobiles in general. Obviously, BlackBerry is a security AI market leader. We have over 12,000 customers, where we're covering 7 of 7 G7 governments, 9 over 10 global banks, top global banks, and same for car companies. Even the International Space Station uses BlackBerry technology to secure its IoT devices. And all of those endpoints actually has provided us with the deep knowledge and view as well about what kind of surface of attacks devices are getting, and at the same time how to tackle day-to-day challenges when it comes to data sovereignty and security. We're going to have today, obviously, an overview about the BlackBerry Digital Workspace. We're going to talk a bit about BlackBerry Spark offering and take a deeper dive into BlackBerry UEM, Dynamics Technology, Workspace, MTD, and we're going to talk about the differentiators where BlackBerry actually provides features that are not available in the market. At least when we're talking about UEM offerings, BlackBerry has a unique approach towards the UEM industry. So we're going to have a demo as well by the end of the session. We can have as well during the presentation some interactive Q&A if possible, and we're going to discuss more about those technologies with the demo. When we talk about BlackBerry Spark offering, obviously it comes into two different sectors or areas of coverage. We're talking about the Unified Endpoint Management, which is the main area of focus for this presentation, and we have the Unified Endpoint Security, which is part as well with the Spark Suite. Both actually converge at specific points as well. So when we're talking about mobile devices in general, there are two areas where we need to be concerned about. First of all, data sovereignty, where basically we protect from data leakage, we protect from any unauthorized access to data, and data security. And at the same time, we're talking about possible malicious attacks, phishing attacks, and anything that is beyond the normal privacy or DLP controls. And this is where mobile threat defense comes into place. So Unified Endpoint Management is the fact where we're protecting the device, managing the corporate aspects of the device, and at the same time applying the needed DLP policies on the device container especially. Again, we're going to talk about the enrollment modes. And on top of that, you would add the mobile threat defense, which covers the malware aspects that on which the device or container can be compromised. Obviously, when it comes to our Unified Endpoint Management, BlackBerry provides a unique offering. So we're extending beyond the traditional mobile device security. Organizations these days invest big amounts of funds to secure their corporate data, like deploying firewalls, deploying web application firewalls, deploying antivirus solutions, EDR solutions, all of those. You get some mobile devices that are out of control and they connect to your corporate network. So it's very important to secure that aspect. Not only that, BlackBerry believes that we should go beyond mobile. And again, this is the main topic of today, where we cover as well files. We cover desktops that are being accessed by BYOD devices. And this is a very unique offering from BlackBerry. When it comes to the Unified Endpoint Security, obviously BlackBerry provides endpoint protection, EDR, user and entity behavior analysis, and mobile threat defense. Mobile threat defense is embedded as well into the UEM offering as an add-on, and it provides a whole, basically, complete offering to secure the devices. When it comes to mobile devices in general, or even desktop devices in BlackBerry's case, there are multiple enrollment models where, in some cases, a user would fully own the device, and they would be accessing corporate data, and that's what the BYOD or bring your own device model is called. Another scenario where you would have maybe a contractor or a user that is using his own laptop or desktop, and they're accessing corporate data. This is a BYOL model, and this is we're going to go back to this topic because BlackBerry has a unique offering in terms of UEM for this part. There are other types of enrollments where you have the corporate owned personally enabled, so that's a device supplied by the whatever organization you are part of, and you enable some personal features where you use it as well for personal day-to-day use. And there are systems as well, or mobile devices that are pure business-only devices, where usually an organization would lock down the device and allow specific features only to be accessed, and that's not used for personal purpose. Those enrollment models can be mix and match within our UEM offering, where you can enroll any type of device, have different types of policies, obviously have different type of controls, ensuring at the same time user privacy, which is a very important point we're going to discuss as well. BlackBerry UEM covers basically iOS operating systems, Android operating system, Windows, Mac OS, Chromium OS by Google, and we have a general support for a large set of container frameworks, or like our own BlackBerry Dynamics technology. We can integrate with Microsoft Intune, Samsung Knox, Android Enterprise, iOS Managed Apps, or the App Config community. We're going to discuss more about the applications that are provided and the integrations within the next slides. So when we talk about basically corporate-owned devices, this is where MDM comes into play. So if you look back into the technology before the UEM naming came, there was something called mobile device management. So what it actually does is actually manages the whole device and makes sure the administrator has enough controls to manage the device aspects in terms of locking down specific security policies, preventing, for example, access to camera, preventing access to specific biometric components of the device. But this only should apply when it comes to corporate-owned devices. We never at BlackBerry believe that an MDM enrollment should be engaged for a personal device. And that is why we developed our user privacy model, where it ensures that in case you have a personal device, you're going to use the MAM, or the Mobile Application Management enrollment. So what BlackBerry did is that we developed our BlackBerry Dynamics technology, where it's an isolated, independent container technology that allows you to manage applications or applications inside a container within the device, and regardless of the operating system technology. And this allows you to manage specific policies on the application level. Obviously, BlackBerry provides a set of applications. You can also enable your in-house applications within this technology to enable DLP controls like iOS screenshot prevention, for example, which is unique in BlackBerry. So BlackBerry allows you to provide screenshot prevention technology on the app level. Versus if you look into what Apple in general provides in terms of APIs, it allows you to have a screenshot, but it will affect the whole device, thus affecting user productivity and the usability of the device. Obviously, no user would accept his personal device to be blocked from taking screenshots. However, with our BlackBerry Dynamics technology, we can apply it on the corporate app level without affecting the user. What we have noticed is that beyond mobile, again, when we're talking about locking down corporate access, there's also one way where users sometimes try to go around the system. So in some cases, you would send an email to a third party, and once the email reaches that third party, it's out of control. You don't have visibility, obviously. So what to do in that case? What if I had confidential email, confidential information, and I shared a file with a third party? What would happen? So that's what BlackBerry did. We embedded within our UEM offering our mobile content management. So now we're having a full UEM, including a BYOD user privacy capability solution. Along with that, we have our content management solution, which is actually a digital rights management solution, where you can apply security at the file level, regardless if the user has a UEM enrollment or not. So again, we're covering the device, we're covering as well the file, and we can apply the same technology on the file level. So we're able to actually detect whether the file is being downloaded, whether there are changes happening on the file. We can even prevent copying or printing from the file. And we're going to see this in a demo today. So with this, we covered the devices. We have covered even the files or the content of the files that is basically being shared with third parties, even internally. The next step is actually providing authentication and identity to the users. The most important part is, of course, verifying those users are authenticated and providing the ease of access. So we're able to provide single sign-on for users, whether you have a third-party identity provider, or if you're using basically native Kerberos authentication via Active Directory, we are able to provide single sign-on and provide even multi-factor authentication to those users. Beyond accessing the traditional MDM, UEM resources, which are user web-based or application-based, we're able as well to provide a secure digital workplace where you're able as well to access virtual desktops, you're able to access virtual applications, even from Windows, via our container technology. And we're going to talk as well about the unique offering that is provided in this one. So again, we're talking about a more flexible deployment model with BlackBerry. So you can even use native applications. You can use basically Android Enterprise, Samsung NOC technologies as a container, or you can use our BlackBerry Dynamics container, which has as well unique offerings outside the operating system traditional capabilities. We're talking about the ability as well, again, as we discussed, if you have internal custom applications that you own or develop, you can enable them as part of the BlackBerry Dynamics container technology, where you're going to have all the security features that we mentioned, even with your in-house applications. To help users basically in their daily operations when it comes to mobile devices, BlackBerry has developed a large set of applications, whether to access their email, calendar, contacts, presence, that's through BlackBerry Work. We have as well developed a secure browser, which is called BlackBerry Access. So this is allowing you to access your basically web applications from your mobile, even from your desktop. We're going to talk about that. We have other applications such as BlackBerry Connect, where it's actually a collaboration presence application, where actually you can detect the status of the users, where they're on Cisco Jabber or Skype. We spoke a bit about mobile content management and digital rights management. That's through BlackBerry Workspaces, actually. And BlackBerry Workspaces is either a web application, a thick client on desktops, or even a mobile application on the mobiles itself. All of those applications, again, are Dynamics enabled, where you're going to get all the security within the SDKs of BlackBerry. And at the same time, you're having the ability to do secure file sharing from the mobile itself. We have other applications as well, such as tasks and notes that integrate with Microsoft Exchange for even further productivity for the users. And we have BlackBerry Edit, which is actually an office suite for your mobile, where you can edit Microsoft Office application files or other types of files directly through the mobile without the need actually to use any other editing software. Let's talk a bit about BlackBerry Dynamics. We're saying BlackBerry Dynamics since the start of the presentation. And what is the key differentiator of BlackBerry Dynamics? Of course, when you talk about container technology, we care about security and encryption. So to tell you more about it, all the data, credentials, configurations are encrypted in the corporate applications, separate from the device encryption key. So even if the device is compromised for any reason, BlackBerry Dynamics Container uses separate encryption keys, ensuring corporate data is secure. Data remains encrypted even when it's shared within the apps. So we're talking about data at rest and data in transit. You can basically select whether this data is shared with unapproved apps. You can prevent sharing data with other third-party apps, or allow that based on the policies you select. Of course, we maintain app-level encryption and authentication, so you can even decide which app is the authentication delegate. And basically that makes it easy for users to enroll. We can even assign a specific app without having a core UEM client, and that will be the only app being run on the device without the need for a core UEM client. Like just deploy the email app, no need to have a UEM client, and it will work, authenticate on its own. One key differentiator, which is very important in today's security world. So when we talk about, in general, deploying a UEM solution, what happens is that in many cases, customers, let's say, don't want to publish Exchange, or they want to provide conditional access for Office 365. They don't want to publish their internal resources over the internet. Why? Because there's a risk of attacks. What happens traditionally, you would need to publish your UEM server because you're eliminating exposure of your other backend systems, but the UEM is exposed over the internet. Now the risk is coming on the UEM. What BlackBerry did is actually we have, through our Dynamics technology, the capability of running an outbound only connection. And that's done through our regionalized routers globally. We're able to eliminate the need for publishing over your UEM system. So whether this is cloud or on-premise, you don't need a public IP, you don't need a public DNS, you don't need a public certificate. We're able to connect and route traffic directly from the server, outbound, through our NOC, and at the same time ensure that the traffic flow is happening from the devices through outbound initiated traffic. This means you are 100% invisible for any external attacker. Your UEM server simply does not exist on the internet. And at the same time, you are providing access to your backend systems securely. So this makes your backend systems invisible anywhere they are. Of course, we are able to deliver single sign-on as well, as we mentioned, to those services. We're talking about FIPS 140-2 validated cryptography, common criteria AAL4+ certification, which is very important. And again, there's no need for VPN. It's just dynamics routing, no need to publish over the internet. This means, again, there's no way someone can attack you externally. Obviously, if there's an internal risk, you have much bigger concern from just simply the UEM server itself. So that's a very important and unique offer from BlackBerry. And this is a key differentiator when it comes to BlackBerry positioning in the market. Another key differentiator is the fact we go beyond mobile, as the topic of this webinar is discussing. So we're not talking about the traditional MDM enrollment when it comes to Windows devices. So of course you have the MDM, MAM, mobile application management, mobile device management on mobile devices, but we go beyond that as well through MAM deployments on Windows and macOS devices. And that's something very important, because usually what you see in the market in general for UEM offerings, you would see an MDM-based enrollment for Windows devices where you would own the device as a corporation and enroll those users to manage them remotely. However, that doesn't solve the main problem. If I have external contractors or I have personal devices that I want to provide access to the corporate data securely, like I give for mobiles. Again, you own a device as a mobile, you want to have access, you enroll as MAM. So BlackBerry has also a unique solution for that. We have developed our own browser, which is BlackBerry Access, which provides access to resources, again, without VPN, where you can manage via the policies, get compliance checks, apply specific DLP policies on those laptops or desktops, and at the same time ensure those devices users privacy is maintained. So we're not managing those devices, we're just managing, again, the container. And this is a very unique offering. Again, no need for VPN, no need for publishing anywhere. You're providing dynamics routing via our dynamics technology to the backend resources. Many organizations these days are contacting us to transition from the traditional VPN due to the vulnerabilities we see daily globally on VPN systems to the BlackBerry Access technology. It provides a very easy way to access and at the same time security in its best forms, because again, you're invisible from any external attacker. We mentioned on-device data protection, in-transit data protection. Basically, all the data inside the Dynamics applications is encrypted with an AES-CBC 256-bit keys. And we have also the encryption keys protected with user passwords and on the device security processor. Of course, we have the ability to apply compliance policies, checks whether the device is rooted, jailbroken, whether the device is compromised for any reason. And when you add the MTD plugin, you're able to as well detect malware. You're able to detect smishing, SMS phishing attacks, which are rising in today's cybersecurity world. Of course, when we talk about data protection, we need to talk about as well data in transit. We're able to detect insecure access points and make sure that the data in transit between the applications is secure and encrypted to avoid any type of man-in-the-middle attacks or sniffing over this data. So when you talk about BlackBerry Work, again, we mentioned BlackBerry Work as our email client. It's a very user-friendly interface. But I want to jump here to a quick demo in the middle of the presentation to show you our unique desktop offering that we spoke about now. So I'm going to open a machine, and this machine is basically a normal laptop for a user where we installed the BlackBerry client. Again, there are two types of enrollments on Windows devices or macOS devices. The MDM, which is the traditional way where Microsoft Windows and macOS provides their APIs for integration and managing the device. We're not going to discuss that because that's generic in the market. BlackBerry's unique offering comes within BlackBerry Access for Windows or macOS, which is our unique browser. So here I've opened BlackBerry Access browser. Very easy to install, just double click and it will install automatically. Enrollment as well is very easy. The administrator will generate a key where it's used only once for the user and they would send the container password. So I'm going to open the browser. This is the browser. As you see, this is very similar to Google Chrome because it's based on Chromium browser and it's a hardened browser. So whatever Dynamics container technology we have, SDKs have been embedded within this browser. And at the same time, I'm going to open side by side a traditional Google Chrome. As you see the similarities, they're very similar. This makes sure we make sure with this actually users are familiar with whatever interface BlackBerry Access and Google Chrome have. What is the unique offering with this browser? Why are we opening this browser, not the traditional Google Chrome? As you see, this machine doesn't have any VPN installed. We're not running any VPN. This is a personal machine. I enrolled it. I want to access my corporate resources. How do I make sure they are secure, no data is being leaked? At the same time, I want to make sure this user is not affected. I'm not looking down any aspects of his device. If the user tries to take a screenshot, you can see the isolation that is happening here. So on the right, I have the personal Google Chrome. On the left, I have the secure browser from BlackBerry. I'm not affecting anything related to the personal aspects of the user. I'm making sure simply the user is not able to leak any corporate data. The same thing if I want to copy this data. So let's say I'm copying something from the browser. I want to paste here. It's not going to allow me to paste. It's grayed out. But of course, if I type anything here, I can paste it outside the container with ease. I'm not affecting anything on the personal level. Obviously, you can customize those policies the way you want. If you want to allow him to copy, you can. If you want to allow him to export files, you can. It's up to you. But you're providing full isolation, no DLP client installed, nothing. It's just this browser is installed, no VPN. So let's try to go beyond that. So let's go to this link. So this is a link that is not published. If you see here, I cannot access it. There's no VPN, thus there's no change in the routing. I'm gonna just show you the connectivity on this machine in general. So let me open CMD. So there's just a single IP. There's no VPN. This is the gateway. This is the IP. So what happens here? I'm trying to access a link. This is not published online. I don't have a VPN client. Obviously, I will not be able to access it. But if I try it from the secure browser, I haven't put any password yet. The only thing I put initially was the container password, which is separate from our Active Directory password. It automatically detected my name. This is a single sign-on configuration, gave me access to our Oingo secure portal. So this is a VDI, it's a secure digital workplace where we have a VDI, a virtual desktop infrastructure or virtual desktop applications published. I want to access a machine that's based in Canada. With a click of a button, it will load the machine for me via Windows 10. Again, no publishing, no VPN, just through the secure browser. It's going to detect my name again, and it will provide me access to this virtual desktop. That's one. So what if I want to access an application? I don't want to access just the desktop itself. So I can go again to Workspaces. I can access my files. I can access an application. Let's say I'm a network administrator. I want to access PuTTY. If you look into the device itself, there's no PuTTY installed. So here, if I go to PuTTY, it's just trying to ask me to install on Windows and redirect me to the web console, web page for PuTTY. There's no PuTTY installed on this device. I can access PuTTY from our virtual desktop application server. So I just access PuTTY and it will route me within our internal infrastructure. That's just like that. Again, if I'm trying to leak any data or take a screenshot, it will not allow me. Okay. The only reason you're able to see screen sharing is that because I have it allowed as a policy and I'm sharing it from a virtual machine. I can block as well screen sharing the same way. So if I go back to the files as well, I can load files. I can access Office applications from here without any issue. So let's say I want to access a file, I can select for it to be open in Excel, and it will load the file in Excel if you have Excel published for the user. So now it's loading and it's opening Excel for me. Okay. What else? So when we talk about our secure browser, we also have a mail client within the browser. So if you don't want to use Outlook or publish Outlook over this VDA session, we can have our secure email client where you're able to access your email, calendar, contacts from here. You're able as well to access file shares from here. So if you have an FS file share or internal file share, you can publish that and access it anytime. Again, if I'm trying to copy data from here to outside the container, it's grayed out. I cannot paste. So we're having the DLP policies assigned into this container. Of course, if I'm copying within the container, I can paste because this is within our container. There's no issue with that. Okay. So again, this is a very unique offering from BlackBerry. We're talking about routing without the need for VPN, no external publishing needed, and you have the ability to provide access even to emails, file shares, add bookmarks, customize the whole solution as a secure browser. And again, the administrator with a quick click of a button can wipe this container. It will only wipe this container. It will not affect anything on the device. It will block access to this container and wipe everything within the data here. If I save a file on the container, the files are saved within the encrypted container. Of course, you can specify to export, allow import to the files. That's up to your policies. But the downloads folder here is encrypted and independent from the download folder that is on the device itself. So those files are actually encrypted and not accessible directly by the user. Okay. So that's our secure browser on desktops, whether Windows or macOS. Obviously, you have the same browser on mobile as well, but we're talking about this because, again, this is a very unique feature from BlackBerry. I'm going to go back to the presentation. We're going to talk about another offering within our UEM offering where it's beyond devices. So before we jump into that, of course, we mentioned about custom applications, packaged applications, Microsoft applications. You can have your own applications, wrap them into Dynamics SDKs. You can integrate with Microsoft applications via our Enterprise Bridge. Or if you have Intune, we can expand Intune's features by providing our integration via Graph APIs. So BlackBerry's belief was that UEM covers devices. That's amazing, but we need to go again beyond devices, beyond mobiles. And data leakage these days is happening everywhere, either through email. Even if you have DLP policies, if a file is being shared and the file is already outside, you have a copy of the file, your DLP forensic data capturing detected that file, but still you have to share those files. How to share files with users? Some users share files sometimes via WhatsApp, and that's a challenge as well. So what BlackBerry did is that we embedded within our UEM, offering BlackBerry Workspaces, which is a full secure file sharing solution. We're going to have confidential negotiations, litigation within the same solution, file synchronization through our thick clients. We have as well the ability to mobilize existing repositories. Let's say you have OneDrive, you have basically NFS local file shares, you have SharePoint. You can integrate with those repositories and have the ability users can just pull the files from there and share with external users. Of course, it allows you to have mobile productivity via our Workspaces mobile client. We also have an Outlook plugin where you can share as well or apply security permissions from Outlook directly before you send an email. So Workspaces support files up to 10 GB, so it's considered an FTP replacement for many customers where they're using it, even if they don't want to apply any security on the file level. We're providing with secure Workspaces not only the controls at the level of the file, but also providing additional security features such as, again, file encryption, data in transit, and very importantly, in use. So when you open a Word document, for example, it creates a shadow copy for that file. So even when the file is open, that shadow copy is encrypted. We're using FIPS 140-2 certified crypto modules. We have the ability to granular control what type of access, apply watermarks to the files, customize the watermark. You want it diagonal, you want it in the bottom, you want it in the top of the file, doesn't matter for us. We have also something that is very special, which is called online only mode. We're going to have a demo about that today, which also protects from physical camera capture on the screen. We have also the ability to have file versioning, so you can have multiple versions of the file, or you can have, let's say, 3 versions. If there was any ransomware attack happening in your environment, you can even recover those versions. You can do collaboration as well with third-party users. So it's a very flexible solution when it comes to usability, productivity, and at the same time security. Ransomware recovery, we mentioned that a few moments back. We have the ability to recover and roll back files that were affected via ransomware. We have the ability also to block specific endpoints from connecting if they are affected. Until you mitigate the risk, you can also action that. Workspaces integrates with ICAP-based anti-malware solutions, so you can do malware scanning via ICAP before the files are being uploaded. So let's have a quick view about Workspaces, or a sample of what Workspaces does. So what I have here is I'm logged on Workspaces web client, and I'm going to open a workspace, which is actually a folder where I have specific couple of files. One of those files is this PDF file. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to trigger share a file, and I'm going to put API mobility user. That's just an email. So let's say you have a corporate file, it's a confidential file. You signed a contract with one of the contractors for 1 year, and you want to share this file, but you want to make sure they are not allowed to copy or print that file. They just have a sample of that file that will expire within 1 year. I will give them the ability to download protected. As you see here, you have the ability to customize what type of access they have on the file. I will just give them download. No edit, no print, nothing. And I can set the file expire. So let's say it expires after 1 year. I can even select up to the minute when I want it to expire. For now, I'm going to put it to never. We're going to expire that manually. I have the option as well to enable watermark, where the administrator can customize what types of watermark, what kind of information is embedded within the watermark. This is a sample watermark. We have watermarks everywhere on the file. And I'm sharing this file. Again, the third-party user doesn't have anything related to UEM, doesn't know anything related to UEM. He just will receive an email. Let me close our browser here. No need to access the secure browser. It's just normal Gmail. He's going to open his Gmail account. He will receive a message like this that I have shared a file with him. He will go to download. He can view as well the file. So the first time you're logging in, it will ask you for your email ID. We have multiple ways of authenticating through workspaces. One of them is OTP, which is email OTP. So we're verifying that the user owns the email and has access to the email. You can have it via username and password. It's your call. You want to integrate with third-party systems for authentication, you can as well via SAML. I'm going to use the OTP for this case, and the download has been triggered. We have the ability to view online. Again, view online does not need anything related to plugins or installing any plugins on the file. So what happens now, I'm just viewing the file. You see the watermarks are everywhere. If you look on the top right, print is grayed out. I'm unable to print. If I try to copy from the file level as well, there's no file, no copy. I'm just pasting the OTP which I copied. So we have the same copy prevention here being applied. If you look at the desktop, we have in this case the client installed. So if you want to open this PDF, I can just directly open it. So if we're opening a PDF, Adobe will not open this type of PDF. He's not going to be able to access this PDF. What happens if you open it normally within, let's say, Adobe Reader, it will just inform him that he needs to install Workspaces client. That's it. So I can show you how. So this is what he gets. He gets a guide and a link on to install Workspaces client. So either he has to view online or just deploy the client and sign in. So if you see here, I have the client. Also, I have the file open. Again, print is grayed out. Copy is grayed out. If I try to take a screenshot, remember the same Dynamics technology is embedded here as well. So I'm unable to take a screenshot. So I'm not affecting the device. Nothing on the device is just on the file level. This is security beyond traditional mobile, basically enrollments. So we're applying the full technology on the file itself. Meanwhile, on the administrator view, who shared the file, he can click into file activities. He can see where the file is. So this machine you see here is actually connected to United States, but the other machine is in UAE, and I can see this file has been accessed by this user at this time from this IP through UAE. So of course I can zoom in as much as I want on the map now because of the presentation resolution. So you can really zoom in up to the exact location where this file is being accessed. Okay, or you can just simply view the logs and see what's happening in the file. I can see that the user has opened the file from this IP with this timestamp with all the details. What if this user is not supposed to open this file from this location? I can go back to the file itself, go to permissions, click on the file or the user. I have the ability to revoke access. What happens is that within a minute, this file will no longer be accessible. Even if I have 1,000 copies of this file, even if I take whatever copies, put it on USB, this file will no longer be accessible. So now again, if I go and access this file with a browser, it should prevent me. No permissions. As for the desktop client, within 1 minute, it will enforce this policy and this file will no longer be accessible. So let's say we applied to 147, 148, it should be applied already in a few seconds. So let's try. No, it's already applied. You don't have permissions to view this document. And again, you can request permissions. So this will apply on the metadata level. Whatever copy you had on the file, the same will be transitioned. If you share this file with third party, obviously they're not going to be able to open the file. They need to authenticate via the email. If they have the email password, you will be able to track where this file was being accessed from anywhere. Again, you have the web console, you have the thick client, and you have as well the Outlook plugin and the mobile client. So what if I have a concern from someone opening this file in public, and I have a concern as well that someone might get his phone and just take a shot about the file content? What do? We have something called Spotlight View. So instead of allowing him to download, I'm going to go for online only option and select Spotlight View. I will enable watermark still. Usually the traditional answer for DLP technologies would be, okay, you just apply a watermark. If in case he takes a screenshot, you're going to be able to track it via the DLP policy. In our case, we have Spotlight View, which is actually beyond the traditional watermark, and we're going to see it in view. So again, I share this file. This time I have view only. I cannot download the file because I gave him online only. And if I click view, let's see what happens. So again, the file, we don't need to install any plugin. It will load automatically on the browser. You see, this is Spotlight View. So if someone wants to take a camera shot, he needs thousands of camera shots to just compile this file, and it will not really be meaningful for them or easy to edit those, because if you see the boundaries. So this is additional security. This is perfect as well for viewing in public areas. If there's a highly confidential file, you want to make sure it's not basically someone else is not reading the content. So they're not going to be able to compile meaningful data via Spotlight View. So this is again going a bit extreme into the technology aspects of securing the files, but actually this is a feature that is being requested. Where always phone cameras are a concern. So watermark, yeah, someone can go and edit the watermarks, try to edit them, clean them, but in this case, it's very hard to compile a meaningful information from this file. So this is basically BlackBerry Workspaces. Again, this is part of the UEM Spark offering. It comes with the UEM Enterprise Advanced License, and it's part of the whole vision of securing beyond mobile devices. One last point I want to mention before we move into the Q&A session, which is Silence Protect. Basically, BlackBerry is also known for its AI-based silence endpoint technology, where BlackBerry embedded the same technology as well to secure mobile devices. So you're able to enable, with a click of a button, the add-on for mobile threat defense that will allow you to prevent application side loading on iOS, malware scanning on Android. We have the ability to detect as well phishing or malicious URLs being accessed as a second layer of security, on top of routing also traffic via your proxy, internal proxy, if you want to do so. We have the ability to do offline protection via our AI model, and at the same time you will get an integrated dashboard reporting where you can see also threats. We have the ability as well to trigger specific events based on compliance actions. So let's say a device is compromised or connecting to an insecure network. You want to block access to your corporate data until that risk is mitigated. So that's it in general. Obviously, BlackBerry has a lot to offer to take beyond the session allocated time. We have as well BlackBerry Messenger technology, which is also very famous back in the days when BBM was global as for retail. We have the BlackBerry Messenger Enterprise. We can discuss separately regarding that. So I'm gonna just move back for the Q&A session. I'm not sure if I haven't seen if we have the Q&A ready yet.
It's a question yeah, I've got a question over here. Ahmad, how does the licensing model work?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, yeah, so there are two types of licenses, basically, the user-based license and the device-based licenses. When we talk about user can have up to 5 devices. 5 devices can be cross according to whatever policies you decide, whether BYOD, whether corporate-owned devices, whether desktops, whether mobile, it doesn't matter. From a device-based perspective, you just license per device. So you have 1 device, for example, per user. You can just simply have 1 device license in that case. It's a very flexible device enrollment model and a user enrollment model. And for workspaces, same thing. You have user for workspaces, and the user also can cover up to 20 external users if you're sharing with external parties. So you just get the user and you get coverage for up to 20 external users per single user of workspaces.
Okay, great. And then also just from a hybrid environment, does it work with hybrid, full cloud, full on-premise? Yeah, just asking.
That's a very good question,
how it works
actually.
out.
Yeah, so there are two types of deployment models. One that is actually cloud-based, a pure cloud-based deployment, where you can have installed just a single connector on your on-premise environment if you have internal Active Directory, or you can have the whole system set up as an on-premise system. In both cases, again, we don't require any public IPs or certificates. We do load balancing natively. We don't need, again, any publishing, which will eliminate any external attacking mechanism from external threats. And this is a major advantage that BlackBerry offers in the market.
That's great. Thanks so much. I don't think we've got any other questions. So I think we can wrap this up. Just want to say thank you to everybody again for your time. Thank you to Connie and Ahmad for this wonderful, insightful presentation and demo. For me, it's really taking security to the next level. We will be obviously reaching out to those that have attended yeah, see if anybody's interested in a good one-on-one session to discuss your requirements in further detail and see where we can help you. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you, Grove, for making this webinar happen. And thank you, everyone, for attending the call today. Looking forward to the next steps.